Hello, my name is Jack. I'm an English literature teacher, and today we're going to be looking at a scene from Shakespeare's Macbeth, which is obviously a very famous play, and this is a very famous scene from that play. In this scene, Lady Macbeth is talking to herself, planning to convince her husband Macbeth that they should kill the king and usurp the throne from King Duncan. So we're going to read through this. I'll read through it in 3 sections, and in each section I will stop and analyse the key points in that section. So to begin, the raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the top, from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Okay, so a couple of things about this speech from Lady Macbeth. The first is her mention of the raven. The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. The raven is, if you don't know, a kind of black crow. This bird is symbolically associated with death, darkness. It's the bringer of bad news. It's a bad omen. It signifies something terrible is going to happen. Lady Macbeth says that the raven is hoarse, so the raven has a sore throat, like a croaky voice. The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Okay, so Duncan the king is going to be staying in Lady Macbeth and Macbeth's castle for the night. Lady Macbeth, referring to this, talks about the raven that announces his entrance being hoarse. In other words, the raven, the bringer of bad news, is so croaky in his voice that he cannot express or indicate the thing that is going to happen to Duncan in this castle. In other words, Lady Macbeth has something very dark and deadly planned for Duncan. It's so bad that the bringer of bad news himself, the crow, is voiceless. He's scared. He cannot tell of this thing. Okay, and then she says, "Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here." Now, this is a very famous thing that Lady Macbeth says. She asks spirits, in other words, dark forces, dark supernatural forces in the world, to unsex her. So to take away her sex, her gender. In other words, to take away her femininity and her femaleness. Okay, so why is Lady Macbeth doing this? Why is she asking dark forces to take away her female nature? This is easy to understand if you think about archetypes and stereotypes relating to women. So as a female, as a feminine person, Lady Macbeth is supposed to be kind-hearted, nurturing, someone who brings pleasant things into being, into reality. So by asking dark forces to take away her female nature, her feminine nature, she is asking them to make her not more masculine, not more male, but more neutral, a colder entity, a colder thing. So she wants to become brutal in order to help her husband kill Duncan, the king. Okay, to continue, she says, "Make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breast and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief." Okay, so this is a continuation of what Lady Macbeth has already said, which we've already discussed. The idea that she wants to be unsexed by dark forces. She wants her female nature taken away from her to make her more brutal. So in here we see some more specific details about this, right? "Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall." Okay, again, this is the idea of the nurturing side of the female, of women, the fact that they breastfeed babies and give babies energy and food and life. They are, again, the word is nurturers. Women are nurturers, they are givers of life, they are growers of life. And Lady Macbeth is rejecting this. This is probably shocking to an audience now, but the further you go back in time, the more shocking this is for a woman to behave like this, to be rejecting her own nature in order to do something terrible. So you can see that she says, "Come to my woman's breast and take my milk for gall." Okay, so again, she wants the part of her that would feed babies, that would help to nourish and nurture life. She wants this replaced by gall. Gall is, if you don't know what gall is like an acidic substance in the body. You have like a gallbladder that produces this. It's a natural thing in the body, but it's an acidic thing, right? It's not something to feed that feeds life. It's something that kind of is corrosive. So she wants herself to become a more poisonous and corrosive person. Okay, and then in the final part, she says, "Come, thick night, and pull thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold." Now this is a key thing to understanding Lady Macbeth, particularly later in the play, where after they have killed Duncan, she begins to lose her mind and be eaten by guilt until she commits suicide. Lady Macbeth is not a naturally bad person, right, or a naturally evil person, and this is why she has to ask spirits to unsex her, to take away her femaleness and her femininity. She is naturally female, she is naturally feminine, she's not naturally a murderer or a dark person. So firstly we see this with her request of the spirits, but we also see it in this final section here. She says, "Come thick night, and pull thee in the dunnest smoke of hell." Okay, so pull thee in the dunnest smoke of hell. She wants everything to be covered in the smoke of hell. Why does she want this? "That my keen knife see not the wound it makes." Right, so she wants everything to be covered in the smoke of hell so that she will not be able to see what she's doing. So when she kills Duncan, the king, with a knife in the night, she doesn't want to be aware of what she's doing, right? She wants to be kind of depersonalized or disembodied when it's happening, because she is not naturally a murderer. She has to do all of these things to herself, mentally and physically, and also she has to be, or she wants to be, blinded by the smokes of hell so that she cannot see what she's doing. She doesn't want to be aware of it. Of course, this is an impossible thing to do. You cannot commit a crime like murdering the king and then just go on as normal, as if you have not changed. And that's what we see as the play Macbeth unfolds, because Lady Macbeth very slowly loses her mind and becomes destroyed by guilt and finally kills herself, because the things that she is requesting of dark spirits in this scene are not possible.